All right, welcome to Kenny Baker Plays Bill Monroe, The Road to Columbus. This is possibly my favorite version of this tune, and so let's get acquainted with it a little bit at the original tempo. It's going to play Bill's break, and I'm going to play along with it so you can get the feel in your mind and in your ears. It's going to go 3 times so you can see what's going on, just to get the original flavor in our minds. So here we go, 3 times through on the original recording with Bill Monroe and Kenny Baker. Alright, so now let's slow that down to half speed and play along one more time. Okay, now let's slow it down to 3/4 speed and get a little bit more of the feel now that we've heard more of the notes more clearly. Alright, so now let's go ahead and hum through it to get it in our minds, since we're learning by ear and by heart. It's a good thing to kind of just hum through it so we can catch the shape of the melody. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Da 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 boo doo. Bum ba da 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 dum da. Ba da 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 ba da 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 dum da 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 boo doo doo dum da 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 ba da 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 boo doo 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 dum da 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 dum ba da ba da la da da ba da 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 ba da ba 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 da dum boo doo 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 dum ba doo ba ba da doo. let's take a look at the first phrase. What's going on here? It's pretty tricky with the phrasing. Okay, so here's the first line. Okay, let's listen to that again. Okay, so what's happening here? We're starting on the open D string. Alright, so that's down, up, down, up, down, up. And it's and a 4E and a. And then the downbeat of the whole song in the break comes in on the slide down. So we got 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a slide down. Okay, so starting on the open D and then coming up with the upstroke onto the second fret of the D. One more time. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. And so this is an interesting octave that he's doing. Let's try to get that in our ears a little bit more. Let's get that rhythm in there. It's a little syncopated. One more time. Okay, so after the second fret note, you're sliding from the 6th fret with your ring finger down to the 4th fret, and then you're going to play the 2nd fret of the G with your 1st finger. Alright, one more time. Okay, and then you're going to jump up with your little finger to the 7th fret of the D. So just in the whole context, it sounds like this. Alright, and you're going to hit that 7th fret of the D with an upstroke. So here we go. And a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E, a 4E and a. So that's the syncopated rhythm there. 3E, a 4E and a. That's the first line. So let's play. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3. And you can kind of graze that open A to get the drone when you make the upstroke to the 7th fret of the D. And then here comes the second line. Alright. You can either get that with your ring finger or your little finger. It kind of sets it up well if you do it with your little finger, because the second line is going to be droning on that 7th fret of the D note. So let's listen to it in context. 4, 7, 2, 4. Okay, so this is one of the coolest sounds. It creates the tonality of the major 7th over that D chord, which is very unusual, but it's beautiful. And most people don't play it like this, but Buddy Spicher was very careful to point out that that's the way that Bill Monroe showed it to him, and that's the way that he wrote it. So let's get that tonality in our head. It's a very beautiful sound. And so you got your syncopated thing. 4, 7, 2, 4. Alright. 4, 7. And so you got your little finger down, and then you're coming up with your first finger on the 2nd fret of the A into the 4th fret of the A with your middle finger. It's a nice little chord there. It's an A chord, but it's over the D chord. Okay? And the third line sounds like this. Let's listen to that again. This is really one of the coolest lines. Let's listen to it a little faster. You really get that chug. Jigga-digga, jigga-digga, jigga-ding, jigga-digga, jing-ding. Okay, so let's look at that real carefully. Starting with the downstroke on the open A, up to the 3rd fret on a upstroke, and then sliding into the 4th fret. Up to the 7th fret upstroke, and 4-2 open. So la di di boo 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 boom. Then it comes down to the 4th fret on an upstroke. Let's listen to the whole phrase. Da di di boo boo do 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 do. Da di di boo boo do do. 4-2 4-2. Then it kind of lifts 1/16th note before it goes down for that phrase. La di 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 do di 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 boo do do do. All right. La di di boo boo do 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 do. Down, down, upstroke on the 6th fret of the G. Then a downstroke and an upstroke on the 5th fret, which is the coolest part. And then it goes down into the low E double stop chug there. Okay, so let's look at that line one more time. One more time. So let's go back to the beginning. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and... Okay, so this little part right here is just slightly different, but it's really cool the way the phrasing changes. So the first time it goes, and it's right on the downbeat, but the second time, the last 16th note before the repeat of the A is a 6th fret of the G. So when it's going by faster, it smooths out a little bit. But check the difference out. Here's the first way, and here's the second way. Okay, and la di 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 boo doo doo doo, and your downbeat is on that 5th fret of the G string. Da di 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 boo doo doo doo. So you catch the upstroke with your 6th fret, and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E, a 4E and a die die ba di di di. And here's the ending lick. Da di di bi bi di 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 di. Okay, so really cool. It's a lot similar to the first one, the first turn, but it's got a couple of tricky things in it. So let's just listen to the easy part, the part we already know. So it stops there, what we've already done. And it comes up on the upstroke to the 4th fret, open A, 2nd fret, and then here's where it gets a little tricky. He does these cool little hammer-ons, which you'll hardly ever hear anybody do. It's this sound. Okay, so he's hammering onto the 3rd fret from the 2nd fret, upstroke on the 2nd fret, and he does it again, upstroke on the 2nd fret, then open A. And it's kind of hard to do fast, but that's the sound that's coming out. And then here's the little tag lick. 2, 6, 2, 4, 4, 7, 7. And so you're anchoring on that. Your target note, as some folks call it, is the second fret of the D. Bo do bo do 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 do. So that whole ending lick. La do 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 do. Bo do 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 do. Let's go back to the beginning. Here we go. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a. And one time on the second A part, he gets a little bit of this chord in there, which is really cool. So he's got his ring finger just brushing lightly on the G string at the 6th fret over the D chord. Again, so that's just a really nice tonality. Let's check that out again. Second time through. Okay, so let's play through the whole thing slowly. Here we go. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a. Okay, so now let's have a listen to the B part kind of slowly. He kind of slides up here to the 7th fret of the D, and most of this is going to be droning with the open A string. So let's listen to it. Coming out of the A part. Let's listen to it one more time. So it's got a really beautiful, ringy tone to it, a sweet sound. Okay, so let's listen to it one more time, just a little slower. Okay, so it kind of starts off with a little slide here. And just to kind of get your ear used to getting into the flow, let's connect it to the end of the A part. Okay? And there's the downbeat. And so the downbeat is going to be a hammer-on from the 9th to the 11th fret, starting with your middle finger into your ring finger. So 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and a 1. That's kind of the rhythm right there. Let's just get that in our heads. And then he comes up into this beautiful little double stop there, but just for a second. It's almost like a fairy tale music box, but it goes by so fast you don't really hear it like that. Okay, so it's a double stop with your first finger on the 7th fret of the A and your ring finger on the 11th fret of the D. And it's kind of got this rhythm that goes all the way through. It was dung jigga digga jigga dung jigga digga jigga dung jigga digga jigga dung jigga digga jigga, down down up down up down up down down up down up down up down down up down up down up down. A little shuffling there. Okay, so coming out of the B part one more time. Coming out of the A part, excuse me. Okay, so let's check that out. So starting on the 9th fret, hammer on, then 11, 9, 7, hammer, 11, 9, 7, drone. And then you, on the of the 4, 1E and a 2E and a 3 and a 4E and then he comes into the D, just briefly, and that's going to be with your middle finger on the 9th fret of the G coming into the 11th fret. And so he just drones on that 7th fret of the D with the open A. And then he comes up with this beautiful double stop like we were talking about before. So he just hits that real quick, just on the downbeat. And then 11, 9, 7. That's going to the E chord, and it's got that ringing A string along with the 9th fret of the D. And so you make that little move up there, which is your middle finger on the 9th fret of the G, ring finger on the 11th fret of the G with an upstroke, downstroke on the 7th fret of the D, middle finger 9th fret, ring finger 11th fret. And then you're coming back into the little, the second time he puts that little beautiful little variation in there. So the hammer, so hammer from the 9th fret to the 11th fret, down, up, down. All right, so coming out of the E chord, down, this is the other move. This is the last D chord. Coming into this double stop position here, ring finger on the 11th and first finger on the 7th fret of the D. And so this little move, it's a slide. So you got your ring finger, 11th fret of the G, first finger, 7th fret of the D, and then your middle finger is going to slide from the 9th into the 10th fret. Okay, so let's look at that slower. It's a tricky little move. Bum, so let's listen to it. Try to get it in your head. Bum, so again, it's the last ending lick. That's the hammer on. With the ring in A. Upstroke on the 9th fret of the D. Downstroke on the 7th fret of the D. Then come down with an upstroke on the 11th fret. Then middle finger on the 9th fret of the G. And then back to the ring finger note. And then up to kind of ending it on the 7th fret of the D with a shuffle. And then just one more move. Boom, boom, da, boom, boom. So that's 9, 11, 7 on the D, upstroke on the 11th fret, and then ending on the double stop. Okay, so we just kind of got to get the sound in our head. So coming out of the A part, little slide. That's where you do your double stop. But you come off it real quick. Okay, so let's try that a little faster. 1, 2, we're going to come out of it and then slide. Alright, so let's just go ahead and play the ending lick of the A part, so we'll get into the rhythm there. Okay, let's talk about that real quick. Before the band comes back to the A chord, he plays 2 distinct 8th notes there before he goes back into that. I don't think I covered that before. So that's where he does the little so he does that on the 3rd line. So first line is just droning, the double stop, hammer on, B chord, funky thing, Alright, so that's the whole thing. Let's go ahead and play through it slowly. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. dokie. So let's play it a little faster. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, and one more time, a little closer up to speed. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and one more time, just a little quicker, kind of the speed of the recording. 1, 2, 3. All right, so there you go. Practice it phrase by phrase till you've got it. Play along slow with Bill, and just over and over again, and work on the little nuances of it. And if there's something you can't quite tell, just try to really listen for it till you get the tone and the flow in your fingers, and enjoy the road to Columbus.